weapons-related way. But I'm just like, is this what we want to be supporting right now? Which I mean, I don't know. I guess.
What is he doing to support? I'm sorry, I don't know what Nate does.
Oh, he works in the Pacific Northwest National Lab, which supports the Department of Energy, and some of their mission has to do with. I actually don't know what the Israel project is, but some of what Nate does has to do with. There are irradiators that are used like in a medical setting.
Mhm.
This is a big machine that can sterilize blood or sterilize things, and it has a radioactive source inside of it, which is useful for the machine to work, but it's also a security risk in the sense that you can take that material from the machine. So the U.S. government's been doing a process within the United States that might be something to.
Hi, I would like to get started as quickly as possible because we only have Dirk and Roman for the first half an hour. Suresh, we're actually going to start with you because I think that the conversation around the SVG document will be very quick. So do you have, so what we're doing right now is we're waiting for a call for community comments to go out.
Sounds good.
Do you have any?
So I read through the document. I don't have any concerns myself. So I'm not sure what the process is. So should I send out the community call for comments?
Cindy can send it out. Generally, what we've been doing is kind of composing what that email looks like, and then Cindy sends it out.
Sounds good.
When I sent you the original thing, like, I don't know, a few weeks ago, whenever it was, there's a couple links in the email that I sent you that are like, here's an example from the last time, and here's what the process is and all of that. So if there's anything that you don't have, please let us know.
Sounds good.
Do you have
Hey, Alexis,
Yeah.
can I make a suggestion here?
Sure.
If it's okay with Cindy, do you think you could take the first shot at least getting the draft message into form for Suresh, and then Suresh, if you then you can customize based on that. I think that would be a good process going forward, because most of the time this is going to be very much the same stuff. For normal documents, it's going to go to the same lists unless it fits under the special category of requiring broader review.
Like I'll work with Cindy.
Yeah, I mean,
I can draft something boilerplate, and if you want to add anything to it, yeah, that's fine.
Sounds good. It looks fairly clean to me. So,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
Do any of the other, sorry, do any of the other members have any objection to doing the process that way in the future? Yes.
Cindy
Great.
starts, Suresh works, Roman and Dirk are totally happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add, right, what we're aiming, I think what we'll aim for then is over time, the tooling people can assist us there to alleviate the work on Cindy.
So, I mean, I think the longer term arc for me would be, this is the first time I'm running through this process, first time I'm running kind of through the process is, boy, it would be really great if we got a little more transparency with the data tracker. I know this isn't like balloting in the ISG, but just the way that provides, transparency to everyone following along the process, that would be really great because less email, like workflow through email is a win.
Robert is in the room.
I think that's what he said. No, I wouldn't agree, but that's what we want to.
And just a note, we've got observers other than Elliot, so people in the room, please use the mics to speak.
Yes. Okay, do we need to figure out anything else for the SVG document?
Nope, I will draft an announcement, send it to Suresh. If he's good with it, then I will just send it out.
All right, great.
Thank you. Thanks.
Point number 1 taken care of. All right, so moving on to the 9280 updates.
So,
I think,
sorry, kind of back to that.
Yes.
Again, a little bit back to the idea of the tooling. To me, this is about, I mean, it's great that Cindy's doing it, but it should be a template. It should go out like a last call each and every time. I mean, it should be a boilerplate. So we shouldn't have to think so hard about it.
yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of thinking that needs to be done. We already do have the boilerplate, so.
I
Okay,
think maybe
sorry,
there's some
any other?
context that's,
Yeah.
So I think the only thing, Roman, right, there might be some context specific to this thing that we may want to add in because it's not something that's gone through there's no like, I don't know if there's a way to attach a shepherd right up to it, but if there is, then like, I agree with you. But if not, I would think whatever would go into a shepherd write-up is probably something I'll add to Cindy's message. I think that's kind of why I thought like it might be more customized.
Yeah,
But-
no, that makes sense. Again, you've been an AD, I've been an AD. It's the idea if you have the last call, there's a boilerplate and you can always modify the last call text for whatever might be bespoke for the document you're about to push out.
Sounds good.
Not in a, yeah, might as well do a told you so moment. So back in November 2022, we put to the group a proposal to do this, exactly to do all of this kind of stuff. That was rejected by the group on the basis of over formalization, despite it being, so.
That
just
is why
pointing
we
that
have
out. So-
turnover in the RSAB.
Sorry?
That's why we have turnover in the RSAB.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next item because we only have everybody for the next 20 minutes or so. Okay, so our shepherd is Elliot. I think I'm gonna turn this over to you, Elliot, because I'm one of the authors and I feel uncomfortable trying to drive this.
Okay. First, I want to thank Roman for getting the message to the list this morning in terms of your comments. And so where we are in the process, just as a reminder, is that the community feedback closed, as it says on the slide, in June. What has to happen after that is that we have to sort through what is substantive and what is not. RFC 9280 actually doesn't tell us what to do with non-substantive comments. Like you would say, oh, well, they can just be handled by the authors, which is really what I'm expecting them to do, right? The RSAB doesn't really have the right to do much with non-substantive comments. So the only thing we can do is say, here, authors, here's some things you can think about. But substantive ones, we also don't have much right there either. All we can do is judge, oh, this is substantive, and then we have to turn all the matter back to the RSWG for consideration. So what I did, and what you guys reviewed, was doing that sorting. And so before I go further, Roman, if you would just take us through there were a couple of comments I didn't quite follow in your message, and forgive me, I literally just saw it just before the meeting. In particular, you said that you added some references, and I wasn't quite sure I understood the text that you added at the bottom in terms of where it came from.
Right.
And so maybe you could comment.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do so. So thank you for providing kind of the annotation that you did. I try to enrich it by first just providing the mail archive reference to where you pulled your own comments from and where you pulled Mike's comments from. That was my first annotation of your feedback. And then I went through the community call, message by message, and tried to kind of validate everything you already kind of put on the list, which is how I came to concurrence with your analysis. But I also observed that there were 2 other bits of feedback that did not appear to be captured in the list that you made that appear to be substantive to me. And that was what I appended to the end. That was a comment by Ecker, which was a derived comment on section, I think, 7.6. And then a comment much kind of later in the discussion from Rob. And that was my call out there. I provided a mail archive reference for both of those. And I tried to snip some part of the text that they put on the list into that email, but the mail archive reference would be the canonical place. And then on top of my message, I added my own kind of feedback. I called out one particular block of text that would probably benefit from another look.
Okay,
So
all right, so thank you for that. The text in 7.6 that you quote is in response to discussion from the comment that I made. So I think there is a need for clarification to say that I don't think we need all the text from Ecker. The reason is that there are a lot of messages, actually, not just Ecker's, that responded to that. We just need to say that the RSWG is already looking at that, and we'll await resolution on where they come for that. Are you okay with that?
Well, and again, maybe this is the level of precision we're providing. I think that the discussion, the feedback that Ecker provided, and there was follow-up feedback as well, was in response to what you said. But the way I framed the level of specificity you provided, you called out, I think, section 7, and I took that to mean the introduction in section 7. And I think
no, it was the whole thing.
That wasn't clear to me. So if we generalize it to all of section 7, then I'm okay. I just read it as just 7.0 more specifically, and Ecker and both Rob were pounding at different portions of, I believe, section 7.6. So I wanted to make sure we didn't lose that.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, if it's okay with the group, is I will make clear that there was discussion going on the entirety of section 7 in the RSWG. And then I'll send this out with that understanding. If everybody's okay with that, I'll reformat the message. Alexis, this is where I think you need to come back into play as the chair and just send the message back to the RSWG. You can indicate that I was the shepherd, but I think as chair, you need to manage the process from there, okay?
So actually, could I call a process audible on that? Again, I know this is not a standards working group, but it seems unusual to me to have the document author running the administrative processes, even if in fact they are the chair of that group. So I think we could support a delegate handling that, just to make sure that the conflict of interest is very clean, especially since this document explicitly talks about the conflict of interest of this role.
Okay, if that's what people want, as long as there are no buttons to be pushed that I can't push, I'm good with that.
And I mean, if we need buttons pushed, we can always have Sandy push the buttons.
Okay,
So, but,
all right.
generally speaking, I'm fine with that. Like, Alexis does not get involved. So.
Okay, well, I'll reformat the message. I'll send it out later today so people can see it. And if I don't hear any comments by like Wednesday, I'm just going to forward it off to the RSWG chairs and to the RSWG for their consideration, okay? And then we'll expect answers from them at a time period that they decide. And then once they've done that, then we can take the next step. And if there are any concerns, then we can raise them. If there are not any concerns, then the document should be considered passed. And we'll have to ballot on that. Okay.
Does anyone have any input concerns about that plan? Paul, go ahead.
I have a big concern about relitigating in the working group. Some of this stuff here, especially stuff in section 7, is going to open up more oh, well, if we still have time to touch this, I want this. And I don't know how, like, the RSWG can deal with that, but I don't know how RSAB's going to deal with relitigated after it's already been sent back.
That's up
And
to.
I'm sorry,
as you
I'm
say,
speaking
Paul.
as document author here.
Right. As you say, Paul, that's for the RSWG to decide.
Yeah,
and
it looks
when,
like
when it
Pete
comes
has
back
some
to
input.
us,
Looks like
Right.
Pete has some input.
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
I would say that the chairs, I mean, mostly Russ, since he's shepherding this document, but we will discuss, obviously. The chairs will, if the RSAB said, this looks like a substantive comment, we can say, discussed by the working group already. Here is the result we thought. We do not think it needs to be relitigated. Back to you guys. If you think there is something that really needs to change here, we'll continue discussing it, but we think this is solved. Or we might say, this is an issue we will discuss in the working group and move along. And we'll just go through each of the issues that way. In particular, though, that does bring me to, and you don't have to, I think we would have no objection if RSAB said, by the way, we think this is a perfectly good solution to this problem, and we can check it with the working group. Or if RSAB just wants to say, this was an issue that was raised, we don't know whether it's particularly good or not, but at least smells substantive to us, then we'll deal with it. Either way RSAB wants to go on that.
Yeah, I think we're well down the line at this point, though. So I think the best thing, Pete, is for me to send this to you guys. You as the chairs can say, we already addressed the issues X, Y, and Z, right?
Right, and you know, if we want to be very over the top, we can say, look at this thread in the RSWG discussion, this date, and here's the pointer, and we consider this closed. Then RSAB can decide whether or not we got that right. But yeah, we can make that happen if that's what you want to do.
As an author, not as chair, do you constrain any conversation after that to only the points raised, right? Like, so if you do feel like you need to get input from the working group about something that was raised, do you constrain it to only a conversation about that as opposed to reopening everything?
It depends how you deal with the non-substantive comments. Because if it's a change, it's open for discussion.
So
we're gonna put some constraint on the discussion and say, this was the issue that was raised, and if people go off into the trees, we're gonna say that's off in the trees and has nothing to do with what the RSAB asked. But if it generates a change to the document, we're gonna ask the RSWG, is this change okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so yeah, if everybody's okay with that, then I'll proceed as discussed, and then Pete and Russ and you guys should probably see a message by Wednesday, is my guess.
Great. Okay.
We're not doing it this week.
No, you will have the message. You do it when you want to do it. You deal with it next as you wish. You know, that's up to you and the RSWG.
Paul?
Just checking, Elliot, you are sending it just to the RSWG chairs or to the RSWG?
I think it should, that's a good question. I think it should go to the RSWG chairs and then you guys can decide.
Thank you. Because of what Russ just said, the last thing I want is relitigating while we're not having adult supervision.
I think if in the future we get into the habit of everybody knows that if it comes back from RSAB, then chairs are going to define what the conversation's about, you could just as easily copy it to RSWG and everybody will behave themselves. But since we really haven't gone through this process yet, it's fine if the parents look at it first before it goes to the children.
Excellent. Elliot, do you have anything else you wanted to cover about this document?
Nope.
Does anyone else have anything they wanted to?
Oh,
bring up?
just one reminder. Because this document is an update to RFC 9280, there's a special procedure towards the end where the various groups have to approve, specifically IESG and the IAB. So to the chair of the to the IAB and to the IESG, you guys might want to think about your process for that now.
Sounds good. Acknowledge. Elliot, thank you.
So I wanted to unpack that mostly because I provided feedback on that. It's a little confusing to me because the document says specified and we're in a circular loop. Nothing is specified until it's published, but we're supposed to ask before publication.
I mean,
What
that's
it
already in
says-
the original document.
No,
So
no, I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
don't know how to properly execute it because IDs don't specify anything. They're just documents in the ether, and but that's a bar for publication. I provided kind of feedback because I think the current language is even worse.
Okay, let's step through that. What it says is updates, amendments, and refinements to this document can be produced using the process described herein, which we're doing, but shall be published and operative only after the agreement of the IAB and IESG, and ensuring that the LLC has no objections. That's the process.
That sounds to me like you all should be part of the review of the ID before it gets published. That's what it sounds like to
It
me.
looks like a hold, right, until we clear it. I think that's how I see it.
That's
Because-
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, at least from my point of view, I'll probably prepare like a summary for the IAB as to what I think the changes are. I can probably circulate it with the RSAB and put it up to vote in the IAB. So like, I don't know, like Roman wants to put it up as like a balloting thing or not, but I don't know, maybe not.
It would be an ISG decision, so we would use the decision-making rules.
No, but would it be a ballot or no?
I'd probably run it as an ISG decision
Okay, sounds good. Same for the IAB decision. Yeah.
because we don't have published criteria to use the balloting process for this.
Okay, cool.
And now that's it.
We do a conflict review process and we have balloting procedures for.
You'd have to, you'd have to make up something different for this, but
Right.
okay, got it.
okay, back to you, Elliot.
That's it.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they want to bring up either or around this document?
So for the IITF stream, since Dirk is on the IAB, so I think we are covered for that, right? Even though it's not specifically stated, like he's also a stream manager, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll cover it in the IAB decision.
Okay. Do we have any other pieces of business to bring up? Nope. All right.
Elliot, come on, you need to say like, oh, I forgot.
I forgot. I have to eat lunch. See ya.
Cool. RSAB meeting concluded. Thank you,
you.
everybody.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Thanks, yeah.